Oh, hello. So, UFC 294 is in the books, and I am left with one question over everything else that happened on that fight card, which I'll go into in a separate video. This is a shorter one. I want to just explore one thing, and that is what the hell to do with KHAMZAT Chimaev at this point. Just going forward. I'm talking about what to do with him next. Not in the long run. Long run, future still looks pretty bright, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm Burt Green. This is the Burt Locker. If you've not seen this before, I like to talk about sports. I like to have a bit of a laugh whilst I'm doing it. That's the focus of this show. The sports that I'm mainly into: mixed martial arts, bit of NASCAR, NFL, all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, this week I'm just mostly looking at what the hell to do with KHAMZAT Chimaev after this weekend, because as we know, he fought long-time welterweight champion who came up to middleweight to save the event. He came in, stepped in at short notice after KHAMZAT's original opponent, Paulo Costa, fell out with an injury. And you know what? KHAMZAT Chimaev won that fight. Was it ultra impressive? Was it like a real stamped, kind of dominant victory? Was it a kind of, what's the word? A kind of a statement victory? No, it wasn't. Look, he rode Usman's back for the entirety of round one. Couldn't get a finish. Someone who's as good at KHAMZAT Chimaev should be getting a finish if you have the guy's back for 4 minutes or whatever he had. But either way, very dominant. Rounds 2 and 3 were much less dominant. I know he said that he broke his wrist and blah, 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 but there always seems to be something with KHAMZAT. Oh, I didn't finish him because of this and blah, blah, blah. If he doesn't get the desired result, there's always a reason why. And that's kind of annoying, right? Bottom line is, KHAMZAT Chimaev, he is a natural middleweight. And that's the weight that he belongs at. Because one thing that I have seen a lot, I've seen some people saying some insane shit. It's like, oh, KHAMZAT's going to be the first triple champion because he's going to go back down to 170, win that belt. He's going to win the middleweight belt. He's going to win the light heavyweight belt. Look, every time he comes up against an actual top contender, he seems to run into trouble. So I think that people need to start... Look, I'm not saying he won't be a champion someday. I'm saying that right now, to kind of talk about him being a triple champion when he's not won a belt yet, nor has he even really been in a title eliminator yet. Which brings me to my next point. Before the fight, Dana White was saying that this is a possible... the winner of this fight, if they do so in a spectacular statement fashion, they would get the next crack at Sean Strickland for the middleweight title. I didn't think that made complete sense before then, other than to sell the fight a little bit more. Because on the one hand, I kind of see that it makes sense for Kamaru Usman. Now, this is going to sound like I'm being massively unfair to KHAMZAT Chimaev here, but the resumes are not the same. Let's not pretend that they are. Okay, look. Kamaru Usman, even with a win over KHAMZAT Chimaev, has not beaten a ranked middleweight. I don't think KHAMZAT Chimaev is ranked at middleweight. I'm fairly certain he is not. He definitely shouldn't be. No, he's not. No, he's not ranked at middleweight. So you kind of... and Kamaru Usman obviously isn't ranked at middleweight either. So you were looking at a situation there, which this is why I didn't think it made sense. You're looking at a situation there where no matter who wins that fight, they have 0 wins over a ranked middleweight, and you're talking about putting them in for a title shot against Sean Strickland. Now, for Kamaru Usman, I feel like that's sort of... you could make an argument for that, because he's the long-time welterweight champion, widely regarded to be one of the best welterweights to ever do it. He was always, toying with the idea of going up a weight class area. If you've been the long-time champion, defended it as many times as Kamaru Usman has, been such a kind of a pillar of that division, and you get one win, any win at middleweight at that weight class, then yes, I think you can make an argument for him getting a title shot because of his resume, because he's a former champion, because he defended the belt so many times. You can make that argument. KHAMZAT Chimaev has not won any titles. He has not even won a title eliminator. He hasn't beaten a ranked middleweight. like ever. He's not even fought a ranked middleweight. Let that sit with you for a minute. And they're talking about putting him in for a title shot against Sean Strickland. You know, if he'd have just bulldozed Kamaru Usman, ragdolled him like he did to, say, Li Jiangliang, for instance, if it had been that kind of impressive statement victory, yes, I could see an argument for that. But it wasn't. It was a tough, kind of, actually relatively close decision, where I didn't think that KHAMZAT looked as impressive as he has done. And then, because people are saying that Sean Strickland has said that he doesn't want to fight KHAMZAT Chimaev. You need to read the whole interview, because that's not what he said. He said he's down to fight KHAMZAT Chimaev, but he doesn't think that he's deserved the title shot. And he's not wrong. He isn't wrong. Look, show me the middleweight contender that KHAMZAT Chimaev has beaten. Better yet, show me a ranked middleweight that KHAMZAT Chimaev has beaten. Better yet, show me a ranked middleweight that KHAMZAT Chimaev has even fought. He's not even fought a ranked middleweight. And they're talking about him skipping 15 places in the line. Come on, I understand this is entertainment first and foremost, and it's all about the dollar signs, but come on. You got to have some form of credibility to this, haven't you? You can't just have a guy skip 15 places in the line. Look, KHAMZAT Chimaev, he might well get to that title, but he has not earned that yet. What about Dricus du Plessis? Dricus du Plessis just knocked out Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker doesn't get knocked out. It just doesn't happen. Outside of Israel Adesanya, that dude doesn't get beaten, let alone knocked out. And Dricus du Plessis stopped him. No one gave Dricus du Plessis a chance in that. And he has now earned that title shot. He earned it. Do you know what I mean? If Israel Adesanya doesn't get the rematch, he used that up against Pereira. Dricus du Plessis is the rightful number one contender. Don't pretend it's any different. He just is, right? And then you've got other guys, Jared Cannonier, Marvin Vettori. Even Paulo Costa's got more of a... He's actually fought and beaten ranked middleweights. Roman Dolidze. Do you know what I mean? Look, these are all very good. These are great matchups for KHAMZAT Chimaev. Give him one of those first. Look, there's every chance that KHAMZAT Chimaev could maybe go in there and ragdoll like a Jack Hermansson. But I'm going to need to see it first. You can't just assume he's going to bulldoze these people. Jack Hermansson's a tough guy. He's a big guy. What about Brendan Allen? Brendan Allen's an absolute stud. Why is he getting completely overlooked? Roman Dolidze. Do you know what I mean? Look, if he can't get the takedown on Roman Dolidze, good luck standing with that fella. Good luck. Look, you might be able to ragdoll him. I'm going to need to see it, because a lot of these middleweights are not the smaller frame guys that the KHAMZAT was ragdolling at welterweight. He ragdolled a few people like Gerald Meerchat, GM3, not a ranked middleweight. But you look at some of these guys, I'd be interested to see what maybe KHAMZAT looks like against a Dricus du Plessis. But I think Dricus du Plessis should get the next shot. But what about a Jared Cannonier? I know he's just done his ACL, but for me, look, I think looking at a Marvin Vettori, a Brendan Allen would be a fantastic... You know, it's just a Nasruddin Imavov. Do you know what I mean? All of those fights make sense. But to throw him straight in there against Sean Strickland, for what reason? People are saying, oh, but Sean Strickland got his title shot when he didn't actually deserve it. Number one, he's beaten ranked middleweights. Number two, he stepped in at short notice to save a card. KHAMZAT didn't do that, by the way. KHAMZAT was fighting anyway. He didn't save shit. Right? Why does he get like the special treatment? All he did was take kind of a frankly, what you could argue is a less dangerous opponent. That's all he did, and he didn't look that impressive in beating him. So look, I've got a lot to say on this subject, but I feel like I've said everything that was running through my head. For me personally, to summarise, KHAMZAT Chimaev absolutely does not deserve a title shot against Sean Strickland at this stage. He needs to at least fight a ranked middleweight. Just any ranked middleweight. Put him against Robert Whittaker. I'd love to see that. Number one, that fight sells. Number two, I'm not so sure that KHAMZAT wins that one. And that sells fights. That makes it interesting. That's a compelling narrative. And people love narrative. yeah, no title shot in my opinion. Whether they do it or not is another matter. I think Dricus du Plessis is getting absolutely robbed if he doesn't get the next title shot, if I'm totally honest. But yeah, what do you think? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm out of my mind, because look, I just want to also, not for nothing, but I'm a huge fan of Khamzat Chimaev. I love the energy that he brings, that weird kind of like stare that he does, like that kind of sadistic, he's a scary guy. I love watching him fight. I want to see him tear through the division, but he has to actually do it. He has to actually fight ranked middleweights to tear through the division. Am I out of my mind in saying that? Come on, man. Anyway, of course, this week we've got a hell of a main event. Derek Lewis stepping in to save the card to fight Jailton Almeida. Horrible stylistic matchup, but the Black Beast has got knockout power for days, and I just love watching him fight. That's going to be a real fun one. That's going to be this week. I'm going to be doing my casuals guides, all my terrible bets, all of it. So hit subscribe. We have a lot of fun on this channel. I do a lot of NFL fantasy stuff as well in the NFL fantasy season, of course. Check out how my team is doing. Jury's out this week. Don't know yet. This is being recorded on Monday. I've got a lot of players in the Monday night game. The tension's killing me. Anyway, yeah, hit subscribe, all that good stuff. Until next time, keep those odds long and those bets terrible.